Good morning, everybody. How are you? Waking up? The end of the West Coast swing. A little bit different look here for our presser today. Good morning. I'm Jamie Little, and I want to thank all of you for being here. Miss Danica Patrick is getting comfortable.
Yeah, this head thing moved down, and it gave me a really great back support. I actually thought it was a massage chair for a second.
Well, this is a big day for Aspen Dental. They're very excited about their announcement with NASCAR, and obviously joining us, Danica Patrick. She's been sponsored by Aspen Dental for almost 4 years now, and they've been a sponsor of Stewart Haas Racing for over 6 years. So Danica, good to see you this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
And as well, Aspen Dental dentist, Dr. Vincent on the end.
Hi, good morning.
And the ADMI spokesperson, Michelle Vaith.
Good
To
morning.
my right. And our NASCAR representative. It's good to see you.
Are you comfortable?
The most comfortable dentist chair I've ever been in.
This is, I was going to say, this
Little
was
different,
definitely
I
a
know.
first for you.
It's definitely a first.
Vice President Business Development for NASCAR, we welcome Chad Siegler. So Chad, we'll kick things off with you. If you could tell us a little bit about what we're all doing here and why NASCAR suddenly is involved with Aspen Dental.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jamie. And I second Danica. This is the most comfortable press release. All my colleagues are going to be very jealous of this announcement. But no, we're very excited. Anytime from the NASCAR side that we're able to sit and watch a sponsor grow in the sport, which we've seen with Aspen Dental, whether it's from the last 6 years of growth, what they've done this year. But for us, we're excited to welcome them on board as part of the NASCAR family as the official dentist in NASCAR. So very exciting day for us. When we go back, a few months ago when we started having these discussions with the team at Aspen Dental, the thing for us that was very obvious was the passion that this team has for dental health and wellness, dental health, not only to just their patients, you look at just the American public, and then it just meshed with what we felt was really important. We're always wanting to tell that story of health and wellness to the NASCAR fan. So a lot of synergies there, and we're just, again, very excited. I know Michelle and Danica are going to talk a little bit about the initiative itself, but again, I just want to say we're excited to welcome you guys aboard and part of the NASCAR family's official dentist.
Thank you very much, Chad. So for Danica, Aspen Dental lead sponsor this year for double-digit races, so it's good to see you guys step up. You're on the car more often, so that's a familiar face with Danica, obviously. But what does it mean to you, Danica, to be part of this initiative and to see a sponsor of your own go on another level nationally?
It's always rewarding. It always feels good. It always makes me excited for the future, because the more that a company invests into me and everything around it, the more you root yourself and the more benefit you get then. If you don't do anything, if you don't activate, it is probably going to run its course for the contract you've signed. But beyond that, it tends to not go on. So it always makes me very, very happy and positive to see a company rooting themselves. And one thing's for sure about Aspen Dental is that with NASCAR and a push to put emphasis on health and wellness, that is something that Aspen has had a passion for since I first met them. And we started with the Healthy Mouth movement, and now we're moving forward with the Get Started campaign to get to the dentist. I think they said of the 75, there's 75 million NASCAR fans, and 150 million people didn't go to the dentist last year. So there's an incredible pool of people that probably didn't go to the dentist here at the racetrack or watching at home. So Get Started is a really simple, powerful campaign to get people to get to the dentist. So here we go.
Definitely want to make it easier for people who have trepidation going to the dentist, and that's what they're doing here. And Dr. Vincent, I'll pass it over to you. You've seen lives changed by people just taking that first step and getting started. Being a dentist yourself, talk about the importance of this movement, especially getting NASCAR fans involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as dentists, we get it. It's overwhelming to come and see us. There are a lot of factors that prevent people that could go to the dentist. It could be money. When patients come, it's usually just not one appointment. It's a series of appointments that they have to go to, and that could be a little bit intimidating. And, like Danica was saying, 150 million people didn't go to the dentist last year. So we really want to try and cut that number down. So once patients get started and take that first step, it's giving them a healthier mouth and overall leading them to better health, and that's really important. So, I mean, think of it this way. The mouth, the oral cavity, is the gateway into our body. So if you think of it in that perspective, you know, that really shines a light on the importance of oral health. So we're just really trying to encourage and motivate patients to take that lead and go ahead and, you know, take the importance in their health care. So it's funny, I had a patient that hadn't been to the dentist in over 10 years, and that is something that is, you know, common to hear, and things happen. Something called life, you know, takes place. And when she came to see me, her priorities were something that were, you know, not concerning for her. Her priorities were taking care of her kids. But, you know, she shared with me when she came to see me, she was embarrassed about the conditions of her teeth, embarrassed to smile. And, you know, it really took a big step to come and see me. But we just want, you know, patients to know, we want the NASCAR fans to know that my colleagues and I are committed to seeing you, and we'll go with you every single step of the way throughout the process. And we are just truly committed to making dentistry easier. And that's easier on their time, on their wallet, and just through the whole process of getting health care done.
I have a mini story. I'm always good for something different you won't expect. I have a friend, actually, speaking about just, you know, taking care of yourself and it being the gateway to everything, to your health, your mouth being. I have a friend who fought a little bit of health issues for quite a while and changed her diet a bunch of times. And, you know, she just had this like gut feeling that there was something wrong in her mouth, and she had a little like knot on the side of her jaw. And it went on for a long time, and she finally went to the dentist and had them check it out, and she had an infection for a long time, and she had the tooth removed, and her energy level is so much better. So something that didn't really hurt necessarily, like it didn't hurt, she just didn't feel good. You know, you don't know unless you go to the dentist. So these are the kind of things that, you know, I wouldn't say I hear this all the time, and I think it's partly because people are embarrassed, and also people just go on and on without fixing these things. So, you know, I mean, yeah, it could be hormones, yeah, it could be just life, but maybe it's something else. And that's why going to the dentist and taking care of yourself from a top to bottom perspective is so important. So there you go, there's my mini story. And this is someone who takes care of themselves, but you got to get to the dentist to find these problems. She wasn't going to like look in her mouth and figure it out herself. It was just an instinct.
Exactly. And Michelle, so why get involved with NASCAR and use them as a platform?
Sure. I mean, we're not new to NASCAR by any means. As Jamie mentioned before, we have a long-time relationship with Stewart-Haas Racing. We've been with Danica for nearly 4 years at this point. And this whole idea for this partnership was literally born from some very simple conversations that we had at NASCAR's headquarters in Charlotte back in August last summer. And you know, at Aspen Dental folks, we are passionate about oral health. We are passionate about the fact that we believe everyday Americans shouldn't have to live in chronic pain because of poor oral health. And we were sharing some of those statistics with Chad and with his team, and I think it was contagious, right? The enthusiasm. And NASCAR said to us, you know, wow, that's 150 million everyday Americans, and that's our fan base. You know, our fan base is everyday Americans. And so to think that the NASCAR fan base could be so widely affected, whether it's by chronic pain or inflammation due to poor oral health, we just looked at each other and said, let's do something about this, and we're getting started today.
Well, and I love how much fun Aspen Dental has with the Tooth Fairy campaign last year. That was
Tony Stewart in a tutu.
Yes. Who could forget that image? You guys have a lot of fun, but I find it really interesting what you did in Atlanta. You guys actually parked a truck in Victory Lane and invited the garage to come get examined. So we're going to see more of those initiatives.
Yeah, and that truck is called the Mouthmobile, and our Mouthmobile has been in existence for a number of years now. It's basically a cutting edge, a state-of-the-art dentist office on wheels, and we literally put it on a national tour every year. It has 35 stops this year, and up till now, we've been focusing on bringing access to dental care and good oral health to veterans, because many veterans do not have access to dental insurance. And so we bring our Mouthmobile through our partnership with Got Your Six, a veteran organization, to different communities so that we can serve those veterans. Now we're also bringing the Mouthmobile to various different places so that we can also serve the NASCAR community.
And that was one of the things that came out when we had our meeting in Charlotte and just started this discussion. You could see the passion from the team at Aspen of just how do we make dental health easy for people? How do we make it easy for them to get over their fears, get engaged, and stuff like the Mouthmobile is a perfect example.
And they've donated over $7.5 million of free oral care with Mouthmobile,
Absolutely.
which is incredible.
And Aspen Dental continues to grow right now, over 600 locations, 36 states. So it's growing, and it's easy for the NASCAR fan to
I've been
find their
to
local.
Aspen Dental many times, and I can say that it's a very good experience. They get me in and out like that.
So
And a picture at the end,
and a picture at the end. Perfect.
which I'm ready because I'm pearly white.
So Danica, tell us a little bit about the initiative and how NASCAR fans could learn more.
The Get Started campaign, like you said, to get started. It's beginning, and people can go to aspendental.com/getstarted. There's a giveaway for Texas Motor Speedway for the second time we go to get a package for that with VIP tickets. So go to the website, learn more about all of it, and get started. It's really a way to facilitate getting to the dentist and really starting that process, because I don't know about you guys, but when I go to the dentist for something or go to the doctor for something, any doctor, I think when everything comes back clear, I'm like, I really need to make sure I go very often, so that you always have that peace of mind of knowing that you've caught everything on the front end if there's a problem. So the hardest thing is to get started, and we all put so many things off because maybe it's not really a pressing priority that day, but how many days can you say that before it becomes one? So so the point is to get started, and most likely everything will be just fine, and all you're going to leave with is like very slippery teeth, and see you in a year.
Love it. So that's aspendental.com/getstarted. And you can learn more about the company there. You can learn about Get Started, but also, like Danica mentioned, there's going to be videos and photos, fun things, giveaways.
We have a
VIP
commercial coming
packages.
out next week.
Yes.
I just saw it. It's really cute.
I got to see it too. It's pretty funny.
It was actually very fun to shoot it.
Danica, the actress. All right. We'll open this up for questions.
I have a question for you, Michelle. You mentioned the mobile dentist trucks. That means in case a NASCAR fan or a driver or crew chief, etc., has teeth pain, she or he can get treatment in this truck?
Exactly. What we did in Atlanta was we set it up in the days leading up to the race, and it was available to anyone in the NASCAR family. So if you're a crew chief, I think the entire track security team went through as well. And, the response was just phenomenal. I think we actually, there was even more demand than we could see in the time that we allotted. So, we'll have to think about that as we bring it to future tracks. But yes, we very much want to be able to serve the NASCAR community and the family.
That might be where I start getting my teeth cleaning.
Good. Yeah, it'd be convenient, huh?
You put a special VIP chair in,
There
put
you
this
go.
one in.
There you go.
I have an additional question. As far as I understand, Aspen Dental is not manufacturing or producing products like toothpaste or toothbrush like that.
That's correct.
Yeah, but are you in touch with toothpaste manufacturers and give them advice? What is important when they launch a new toothpaste, for example? Research?
I mean, we're really focused on patient care at the end of the day. Aspen Dental practices are squarely focused on serving the patients that they see day in and day out. At ADMI, where I work, we provide business services that help support, those Aspen Dental offices and practices that are out there seeing those patients all day long. So that's where our focus is.
Kathy Brown, Pitting Outside the Box, over here. You had stated that you're in, you have 600 locations and you're in 36 different states. So with Southern California being such a large market with NASCAR fans and especially Danica Patrick fans, what are your plans about expanding in Southern California?
Well, we're not in California at all right now. We are not. Yeah, we are not in California as a state. And that's not because we don't want to be in California. You know, we open, on average, we open a new dental practice every 5 days. And this particular year, we were entering into 2 new states. So, you know, as we continue to grow, I would imagine California would be on the plan, but currently we're not in California.
You do have 4 really cool dentist chairs in California
We
right now, though.
sure do.
You know what I love about so many locations too? I'm sorry I just keep chiming in, but it's the things that I appreciate. I've moved so many times, and so when I first partnered with them, I was like, so if I moved, would my like records transfer? And they do. You could get your, so you know, like people move all the time, and the hardest thing to do sometimes is to find a new place to go. So it can make that seem a lot easier too.
Bob Pockris?
Bob Pockris, ESPN. I have a sponsor question for Michelle, racing question from Danica. Michelle, what do you get out of this NASCAR deal that you don't get out of the team deal?
Honestly, we get the amplification of our voice about this issue. So, you know, we have a long history, as I mentioned before, about addressing unmet dental health needs out in the community. And yes, we've been focused on serving the veteran population for a number of years now. One thing we do know is the need is greater than even the veteran community. As great as the need is in the veteran community, the need is great everywhere. And NASCAR offers us a tremendous platform and, you know, a really loud voice to add to ours, you know, where we can just have a really amplify that powerful message that it is really easy to take a simple step and get started so that you don't have to, or someone doesn't have to live in chronic pain.
And for Danica, you were fined a couple years ago for wrecking Gilland under caution, and last week Austin Dillon wrecked somebody under caution and didn't get fined. I was curious if that upset
Give
you.
me my money back.
And so does that upset you, and does it
I also
open
got
the door?
fined here last year for Casey Kane right rearing me on the front straightaway at 215 miles an hour, and I gave him this sign, and I got fined for that too. So I think NASCAR makes a really big mistake of fining for some stuff, because especially like something that happens in the car, because it makes for good TV. Just like fights and all that stuff. We can handle it. I think it's a mistake. I might be speaking too much, but I personally, I mean, I've been fined a few times, and I think that it makes for good TV, and I think that we handle it out on the track ourselves.
So you like the fact that they haven't fined people the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'd rather that be the standard. I mean, what does that really do?
I don't know.
I mean, what does it really do? I mean, I'm not going to not go on vacation, you know? I would actually rather know what it did. I would actually love to see, like, the playground that got built for it, or homeless people that got food. I would like to see actually what the money does for fines, because it's supposed to go to charity, right? So what does it really do? I would like to see that.
Any other questions? Hey, Holly.
Hi. Hey, Danica. Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. I actually wanted to ask you a question about racing, and certainly your thoughts about racing here, but also the short tracks coming up. That's been a place that you've fared well, and we've spoken in the past, and you've been like, yeah, it doesn't totally make sense. You would think because of your background, you know, maybe some of the bigger tracks, but if you could just speak about the short tracks coming up too.
I think what happens at the short tracks for me is that, you know, while I have spent a lot of time over 200 miles an hour in an Indy car, it's more traditional passing on short tracks. So that falls more into the road course background of setting the pass up, timing it right, getting inside of them, you know, all the things that it takes, where on a mile and a half or a bigger track, you just carry momentum through the corner, and you'll be 2, 3, 4 wide, and it's all fine. So I think that's what happens with the short tracks, especially the ones where where you run the bottom, like a Martinsville. You know, then I think to like a Bristol, and I have had some good results at Bristol and some good races going, but we do run at the top. So, you know, I think anytime where there's a traditional pass being made, for me, it's familiar and it's comfortable. So, and I think usually when that's the case too, it requires you to be disciplined to hit the line every time. So something else that I think plays into my strengths is the discipline and the focus of not making the mistakes. I think that helps me too. So, but then again, you know, I've had great races at Fontana. I've actually had it's probably one of my better tracks. I feel like there's been a lot of races where I've been in the top 15 and, you know, getting stronger as the race goes. So, you know, hopefully this weekend's a good race for me at Fontana. I would love to do that in the Aspen car and love to just have a good race. I mean, at the end of the day, what I said at the beginning of the year is that I want to do this and I want to have fun. And when you do well, you have fun. So hopefully it's a good race.
Anybody else? We're going to ask Danica to sign the hood now. We'll have a little.
Signature or autograph? They're different.
Is there a difference for you, ma'am?
is.
Is there?
One's the legal one, and then this one's
The legible and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
illegible.
Actually, the signature was my old autograph.